yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom, ma yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom, ma yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Page 142. Welcome in Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitkhem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Glad we
shalom.
can be together on this very windy and kind of rainy evening. It's nice and warm in here, and it's always interesting. This we just did with our family Shabbat with our young families, and I know we're going to sprinkle a little bit of Tu B'Shvat into our service tonight, as Tu B'Shvat will be happening on Sunday night and Monday this coming week. That it feels a little bit off sometimes being in North America and celebrating the beginning of spring, which is really about the blossoms happening in Israel. But I don't know, it gives us that sense of hope that that spring is coming, and it's a nice feeling. So, Cantor Cohen will begin with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. I think I didn't assign anyone, so we'll do it.
Okay, we shall do
it. We'll do the reading on page 121. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
So rarely get to do this. It's exciting. The wicks are holding so far. Come on, stay. There we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Baby light. You can do it. Okay, so we're going to start our Kabbalat Shabbat service on page 130, and as Rabbi Brown mentioned, we're going to try to bring out these themes of Tu B'Shvat coming up in the liturgy that we say anyway every week. Just highlighting the nature, imagery, trees, and even that idea as we get into the service of Torah as the tree of life, Eitz Chaim. Psalm 95, Lechu Neranena. Lechu Neranena l'Adonai, Nariya letzur Yisheinu. Lechu Neranena l'Adonai, Nariya letzur Yisheinu. Nekadma fanav betodah, Bizmirot nariya lo. Nekadma fanav betodah, Bizmirot nariya lo. Yalalai, yalai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yalai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, 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 lai, 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 lai. Shir l'Adonai, Shir l'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shir l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, Shir l'Adonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kevodo bechol ha'amim, nifleotav ki gadol Adonai, u'olam me'od, nora'ut, al kol Elohim, ay, lay, 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 Page 133, Mizmor Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Ki niflaot asa, Hoshia lo yamino zroa kodsho dia, Adonai Yeshuato, Le'nei hagoyim gilat tzmichato, Zachar chasdo ve'emunato, Le'beit Yisrael, ra'u chol afsei haaretz, et Yeshuat Eloheinu, hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz, pitzcho ve'ranenu ve'zameru, yalei, lei, 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 yai, lei, lei, yalei, lei, 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 yai, lei, lei, yalei, lei, 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 yai, lei, lei, yai, lei, 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 yai, yalei, lei, yalei, lei, 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 yai, lei, lei, yalei, lei, 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 yalei, lei, 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 yai, lei, lei, yai, lei, yai, lei, 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 yai. The top of 134, Zamru l'Adonai. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. Zameru, zamru, l'Adonai. We're going to turn now, page 138, for Lecha Dodi, Come My Beloved, to meet the bride. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, yishmi'anu elam yuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila. O lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. O lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, yihi mekor ha'veracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. O lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. O lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. Verse 3. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitzei mitoch ha'afecha. Rav lach shevet b'emek habacha, ve'u yachamol alaychem la. O lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. O lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. Verse 5, awake, awake, your light has come. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ma'orech kum liori. Uri, uri, shizaveri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. O lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela. O lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekavela.
Rise and face the doors to greet the Sabbath bride.
Boi בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Facing front, last time. Be seated if you wish. We're going to conclude the Kabbalat Shabbat portion of our service with Psalm 92, page 140, the indented part in kind of the middle of it, where it says, Tzaddik katamar, the righteous bloom like a date palm and thrive like a cedar. Tzaddik katamar yifrach ke'erez balvanon yizgeh ישר אדוני צורי ולא עמדת בו.
So we'll turn ahead now to our Ma'ariv beginning on page 263. Please rise for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועלמא דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי,
בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל,
בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולם מעמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקות
בריחו
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. Join together in Ma'ariv Aravim on 265. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו.
אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך, לעולם לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה ואהבתך. אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
So this Shabbat, as I think many of us know, is known as Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat of song for Shirat Hayam, the song of the sea. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a lot of wonderful music. You should all come back tomorrow at 10 for Shabbat Shirah for the service.
Or join us online.
Or join us online. But it's called that because of the Song of the Sea. That is what Mi Chamocha comes from. And it's really this moment of such a incredible drama and joy and exaltation that just sounds much better with beautiful melody and instrument, I think, as well.
I let our religious school students take a vote on Sunday on their favorite Mi Chamocha melody, and this is the one that won. So we figured it was appropriate for Shabbat Shirah. Ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi chamocha neder b'kodesh Nora tehilot osef eleh Nora tehilot osef eleh מלכותך ראו בניך מוקי הים לפני משה ומרים זה ליאנו ואמרו זה ליאנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. The religious school students know when the clap is. It's okay. You'll get there. You'll get there. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. משכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך אמן. One more time. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
We'll turn now to 272 of Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל ביני ובין בני ישראל ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ימריירי שבת שבת ימריירי שבת שבת ימריירי שבת 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 שלום כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ימררררר, שבת שבת ימרררר, שבת שבת ימרררר, שבת 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 shalom.
As we prepare for the Amidah, we'll rise together and turn to page 273. Adonai Svatai Tiftach.
Adonai Svatai Tiftach. Adonai Svatai Tiftach. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Adonai Svatai Tiftach. Adonai Svatai Tiftach. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עבר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Amen.
Please be seated. Page 279, we'll join together, Ritzeh.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, be'amecha Yisrael, u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel, u'tehile ratzon, tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha, El Karov Lechol Gorav, Penei El Avadecha Vechoneinu, Shefach Rochacha Aleinu, Letech Lezeinainu, Beshuvecha LeZion, ברחמים, ברוך אתה אדוני,
we turn to our blessing of Hoda'ah, of gratitude, on page 280. We'll join together 4 lines from the bottom there. V'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu. We give thanks for those wonders that are with us each day.
ועל ניסחה שבכל יום, ערב הבוקר, ערב הבוקר וצהריים מעולם, מעולם קיווינו לך, מעולם קיווינו לך, הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך, והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדך, מעולם קיווינו לך, מעולם קיווינו לך.
282.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Take a few moments now for silent prayer.
We'll come out of our silent prayer with the words of Eitz Chaim, which we normally do on Saturday morning, but I thought it was a relevant prayer for this Shabbat before Tu B'Shvat. Eitz Chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomchea דרכיה דרכנו בכל נתיבותיה שלום. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר. עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר. שלום. שלום of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom.
Brings me back to Hebrew school.
Yeah.
So as we hold in our prayers this evening, our prayers of healing, that we call into mind our loved ones, our friends and family who are in need of healing of body, healing of soul, healing of the entirety of their being. And as we think of them, we'll share particular names, and if you have others that you wish to include in this prayer, I'll give you an opportunity for that as well. We think of Kin Godan, Lynn Blasberg, Eric Schneider, Michael Green, Tzemach ben Menashe Halevi Verikla, Meir Tzvi, Chana Batsara Veshmuel, Meir Zalman ben Rachel, Daniel Gottesman, Bill Shaw, Claire Columbia, David Hansen, Jack Karp, Dan Badash, Victor Lewin, Matt Good, Alicia Eckersley, Tsipa Bat Ita, Leto and Jay, Asher Gavriel ben Mordechai Yehoshua Vasara Elishev, David Coulter, Apollonia Wilczynski, Elena Cobb, Carla Zivat, Janet Gelb, Jean Angus, Judy Steiner Lossberg, David Shlomo Gorney, and Andrea Jarsbiak. There are other names to mention. I'll invite you to rise and share them at this time. Pam Kaufman. Join together, page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom again, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'll just share these, a few of the announcements that are in our handout for this evening. I think the ones that are most kind of important to share with the whole congregation are, first of all, again, a reminder that our congregational town hall is coming up not this Sunday, but the Sunday following, the 12th of February at 11 o'clock right here in the sanctuary. That's going to be a really, I think, important and interesting conversation, presentation on kind of our current and predicted needs of both our building and our cemetery. So please do come. We really want to have feedback from as much of the congregation as possible. Our next Shalom Shishim, that got canceled.
Well, there's the one on Tuesday, but
There's the one on
TBD
Tuesday.
on the next one.
Okay,
afterwards.
sorry.
Yes, but we should say that one is canceled.
The one that was supposed to be on the 21st with the Lieutenant Governor, Janet Austin, unfortunately got canceled. She's not able to come. So TBD, we'll let you know. Finally, just again, a reminder about our Congregational Book Club for the book called Can We Talk About Israel by Daniel Sokach. That's going to there's going to be 2 opportunities to have small group discussions about the book. One in person here on the 26th of February, and then one online on Zoom on the 27th. Those will be led by 2 of our temple members, and then we're going to have a Zoom conversation with the author, Daniel Sokach, moderated by Rabbi Dan. I think it's on the 1st of March, if I'm not mistaken, but it'll be later that week. So stay tuned for registration for the Zoom link for that as well. And again, please do join us tomorrow morning for Shabbat Shirah here in the sanctuary. Really, I think it's going to be lovely. We have our vocal ensemble who's going to be joining us, many of whom were part of our high holiday services. The chanting of Shirat Hayam is really beautiful, and it should be great. So there's an article that I think it was published in December in the New York Times that has been spinning around in my head for a while, and I thought about it just this week. I'll tell you why in a moment, but I'm going to tell you about the article first. It's about a group of teenagers in Brooklyn who formed a new club at their high school. The club is called the Luddite Club. Now, Luddites, if you don't know, are people who eschew technology. They don't want anything to do with it. And these teenagers, I think admirably actually, have given up their phones. They've just decided, we're done with this. Some of them have flip phones just so their parents can contact them, but that's it. And this club, they meet every Sunday in Prospect Park, the big park in Brooklyn, and they sit around together and they talk and they read and they sketch and they paint, and that's what they do. And the founder, she's 17 years old, her name is Logan Lane, and she talked about the metamorphosis that happened to her when she put her phone away in a drawer. She said for the first time she experienced life in the city as a teenager without an iPhone. She borrowed novels from the library and read them alone in the park. She started admiring graffiti when she rode the subway. She began waking up without an alarm clock at 7 a.m., no longer falling asleep to the glow of her phone at midnight. She started to look up at people when she passed them on the street. So I was thinking about this article, not just because I think about that with my teenager now, but also because I was at Bed Bath & Beyond. I was shopping for a pillow, and I was looking in the aisle with all the pillows, and I saw there was one, and on the little description of all the good things about this pillow, on the packaging, it said that it was beneficial in reducing pain from text neck. Yes, text neck. Apparently that's actually a thing. It's become a known condition among chiropractors and physical therapists who treat people more and more frequently with neck pain because they do this all day. Now, I've learned that the average human head, it weighs 10 to 12 pounds, and if we bend our necks like that all the time, when that happens, there's like this gravitational pull on our head, and the stress is like 5-fold from what it is just to hold your head up straight. There's so much actually that's been written and studied about how posture affects the rest of us, our mood, our behavior. The way we stand affects everything from our bone and muscle development, even the amount of oxygen our lungs can take in. All of the body language, all of this, it's real. And according to an idea from our parasha this week, our posture actually impacts our spiritual nature as well. So this week's parasha, as we've talked about, it's called Beshalach, most famous for the Song of the Sea, but there's other important things that happen in it as well. And the section I want to talk about is actually the very, very end of the parasha. This is when suddenly there is an attack on the Israelites, right? I mean, things were good. They got freedom, and then all of a sudden there's an attack by Amalek. Amalek, who's known as kind of like his descendants as constantly being the villains of the Jewish people. Say that Haman is a descendant of Amalek. People say, Hitler was a descendant of Amalek. But here is the original Amalek, and upon seeing the approach of this enemy, Moses sends Joshua with an army to go into battle. But at the same time, Moses stands back at the top of a hill with his staff, that staff that he used to split the sea. And what happens is that Moses lifts up his hands. And when his hands are up, Israel prevails. But when his hands are let down, Amalek prevails. So the Torah tells us that there's something about Moses' hands, the way he was standing, that was instrumental in the war against Amalek. Moses needed to keep his hands raised to ensure victory. But like all people, Moses was human, of course. He got tired. And so Moses had to not hold his hands in his own strength, but actually have his hands supported by two helpers, by his brother Aaron and by Hur, who was the son of Caleb. And it says in the Torah that they did this so that he might hold his hands, and it says, in faith, emunah, in faith, until the sun set. So it's kind of a question of what does that mean to hold your hands in faith? And the Mishnah questions whether this was Moses' actual power. Could Moses, with his hands, actually control the fate of a war? It kind of suggests that he has some sort of magical powers or, something going on at a distance. But the rabbis explain that no, it was rather that what happened to the Israelites who were down below and were fighting, that if they looked up and they saw Moses with his hands upward, that it turned their eyes up. And in doing that, it focused their hearts on God, and they prevailed. And when not, they fell. So when they saw Moses' arms raised, they lifted their eyes in prayer, and it was this posture that ensured their victory. Now, this is an ongoing theme in the Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible, the need to look up. We see Isaiah who says, "Lift up your eyes on high and see who has created these things." Famously, "Asa einai el heharim," I lift up my eyes to the hills, to the mountains. From where does my help come? That's from the Psalms. And in Deuteronomy, Moses tells the Israelites that the Promised Land will not be like the Nile Delta where there's water plentiful and in regular supply, but it will be a land of hills and valleys entirely dependent on unpredictable rain. It will be a landscape that forces its inhabitants to look up. This is what Moses did for the people in their very first battle of freedom. He taught them to look up. No political, social, or moral achievement is without obstacles. There are always people and interests to be confronted, attitudes to be changed. The problems are there, and sometimes the goals or solutions seem far away. But it's always better when you look up and out to see that difficulties can lead in many times to hope. The only way for us to sustain our energy is to turn our gaze up toward the horizon of hope. I'm inspired by the wise words of Stephen Hawking, who challenged us to look up at the stars and not at our feet. Or perhaps in the insights of the Luddite Club in Brooklyn, to look out from your phones and encounter the people in front of you in meaningful ways. Faith is not like Moses, we might think, to believe in the impossible, but it's about having the courage and maybe the discipline to look up. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shkoach. We're all standing a little straighter now.
Yeah, I know. I do think I was watching all of you. Your postures got much better.
Good.
So let's turn and stand up to rise for Aleinu on page 586.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד. Middle of page 590. כי המלכות שלך היא, ולעולמי עד תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. On page 594, a reading before the Kaddish. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh, to lose. A holy thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. We share the names of those whom we remember for Kaddish today. I'll invite you as I read the name of your loved one to please stand as you honor their memory. In Shloshim for Ruth Fraxon, Rosemary Paul, and Emma Tulk. And we mark Yartzeit this week of Byron Aceman, Tolo Almany, Max Baton, Ida Bobroff, Samuel Brezer, Howard Carr, Zohara Charbit, Grace Coheen, Rhoda Down Kenner, Ida Davis, Franco de Rungs, Alfred de Young, Mark Friedman, Michael Frimmer, Bill Gluck, Richard Goldberg, Annie Columbia, Zisman Groner, Leon Hapton, Yankiv David Herzog, Maury Huberman, Stanley Holman, Morris Jaffe, Gordon James, Israel Kaplan, Emerson Stoika Kay, George Kemeny, Alice Kimmel, Rona Lazar, Millie Leviton Lazar, Morris Miller, Sonia Nidukman, Lola Penn, Kalman Reisman, Hannah Malka Rosen, Norman Sanders, Harvey Sawyer, Gertrude Schaefer, Ethelyn Shatsky, Chaya Scheinberg, Abe Silverman, Elchanan Tall, Merv Clifford Weinstock, Lillian Ziff, Rachamim Zigden. There are other names to mention for Kaddish, those who are mourning in the first year, to please rise and share those names out loud. We stand together now as a congregation beside those who mourn. I invite those who choose to join on page 598 in the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru,
Amen.
amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories always be a blessing. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. I can do it. Do you want to do Kiddush first? Okay. All right. We're going to do Kiddush and then our closing song. That's not the right one.
It's down there somewhere.
Got it. Vayerev vayivoker yom hashishi, vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam, vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi melachto asher asa, vayishbot bayom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa, vayevarach Elohim et yom hashvi, vayekadesh oto, ki hivo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Savri,
Fine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letzihat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. Chaim.
I am. Join in Hamotzi, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Close with this classic Tu B'Shvat song, page 672. Ashkeni aporachat v'shemesh bazorachat, ציפורים מראש כל גג, מבשרות את בוהחג, ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות, ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות. From the top. השקדי הפורחת, בשמש פזורחת, ציפורים מראש כל גג, מבשרות את בוהחג, ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג לאילנות, ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג האילנות.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Join us in our social hall for Oneg Shabbat.